All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Goal Getters. My name's John. That's Julio over there, my co-host. How's it going, Julio?
Good. How about you, John?
All right. We're in a different spot. You're at home.
Yeah, I got a roomie here.
Looks nice.
Thank you.
I like the dolphin stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Really nice. You see my maple leaf?
Yeah, I see that. I see it going back there.
Yeah, not much else going on. A lot of snow, so we couldn't get into the studio, so here we are. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
You like it? Comfortable, though, right?
Yeah, you get to do everything. I can have my snacks brought up.
Yeah. You got the puppy there?
Yeah, he just went downstairs. His mom might have hit a bag or two, so he went downstairs.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not bad. So what else going on? Anything?
Nothing much, buddy.
Yeah, no, me neither. But I know since we last met, the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship, we had our winners declared, and were you surprised on anything?
Yeah, the Bengals beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Were you surprised? Did it shock you? I didn't know if you. Yeah,
They should have beat him, but here we are. Joe Burrow's taking us hopefully to the promised land.
and he will be the only right. It's Joe Namath and Joe Montana are the other two, right? They did a national championship and a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Wow, all Joes. How weird.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. All right, why don't we do this real quick? Let's talk about the NFC Championship. And while we're talking about it, we got some highlights we can let the people check out. All right, here's some highlights from the Rams. Rams defeated the 49ers 20-17. Real quick, Julio, Garoppolo, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. Stafford threw for 337, 2 touchdowns, interception. That play right there could have ended the game, right? That pick.
Most likely would have ended it. You would need a couple of first downs, but that would have pretty much ended the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they play defense.
That kills, man. That happened a long time ago to the Bengals in a Super Bowl against the 49ers. I'll never forget it. And then it was a touchdown pass to John Taylor. Very similar. And
hands.
Yeah. So here we go. Cooper Kupp, of course, 11 catches, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's unbelievable. Better than Thielen, do you think?
Yeah, way better.
When Adam Thielen was at his height?
Yeah, well, he's way better.
Yeah. Well, here we go. We're going to kick the field goal to tie the game. It was, I think the Rams were down by 10 at half. San Francisco never scores again. And I think the cat is meowing. Don't worry. If you hear anything, that's our cat. Garoppolo, I guess this is why you need something else, right? He's not good enough.
Right.
Would you say? Is that okay to say? Is that fair?
No, he's not good enough at all. Now he's going to go ruin another team by going to Denver or something if they trade for him.
Yeah, or the Steelers. I could see. I don't know why I could feel he ends up there.
Right.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Donald's too much, man. He was. You know what? There was a point where he was yelling and screaming on the sidelines, and I just I don't know. There was a point right there where I'm like, they're not gonna. I don't know. They just weren't going to lose. It was a totally different feel than the Chiefs gave me,
Right. Yeah,
so there you go.
Their front line just dominates.
Yeah, and there goes Cooper Kupp on that big gain, and they're in territory now to win the game. So I mean, other than that, I'll tell you what, Beckham has been unbelievable. 9 catches, 113 yards. He really found his place.
Yeah. Resurgence of his career all over again.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, this is as best as I've ever seen, I think, of him.
Yeah. Other than that catch back in New York, but that was just one catch.
Yeah, he has really turned his whole career got turned around by going to LA, just as Stafford. I mean, geez, all those years in Detroit, and there you go. That's pretty much the ball game. Well, we're going to see Garoppolo here. He'll flail around and stuff. So and fall over. Chris DeCarlo says hi. Hi, Chris. In a moment here, we'll get to watch Garoppolo and what he does. The Rams get to play the Super Bowl at home.
Right, second year in a row.
Yeah, so that's unbelievable. It really is. And was that the interception there? Yeah.
That was the interception right there.
There it was. Terrible. Just a horrible. Well, you know what? He was under pressure. It's why I guess, like, and then this is weird, but the Rams went and got Stafford because they didn't think Goff could do it. You know?
Right. Golf probably wouldn't even have took them where they are right now.
Right.
Golf
wow.
And take them to the playoffs.
And the 49ers are going to have to do the same. And I don't know if Trey Lance, do they go with him next year, do you think?
Yeah, Trey Lance has definitely got to be the move.
He's got to do.
You don't trade 2 first-round picks and move up to not start him.
Right. Yeah. And their offense really sputtered. I mean, Deebo Samuel only had 26 yards rushing, 72 yards receiving, and a touchdown. 49ers didn't score in the second half. So they're out, and the Rams go to the Super Bowl. I saw the line. It's -4. What do you think of that one? That line?
-4.
Rams -4.
Probably going to go up even more, but I think I'm going to take the Bengals. I think I'm going to take the points.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl should be the best 2 teams. It should come down to a field goal, I hope.
Yeah, next week when we come back, it'll be the weekend for the Super Bowl. We'll do our picks, we'll do some over-unders and some props and things like that. While we're at it, why don't we jump right into the AFC Championship game, which was, it ends 24-21 again in overtime. Just, the AFC Championship the divisional game against the Bills went into overtime. Let's put up some highlights you can watch. This is where I think Mahomes turned back to the way he was like in the first 6 weeks.
Right.
It was really weird, right? I mean, he was.
It almost looks scripted at the second half.
I know. Very strange. Look at this. I mean, and pretty soon, here comes Hubbard's going to come up and all this other stuff, or whoever. No, this is not yet. That's going to come. But what was his numbers? 273, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
But he had 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Kelsey had his day, 10 catches, 95, and a touchdown. Mixon, 88 yards rushing. Mahomes has done this all year. There was a point, I guess it was probably around the time that when the Bills beat them, where he just was looked strange, right? I mean, and it's going to happen here. Right. It's coming. You're going to see it. It's where he fumbles. And it's just, I don't know. It was mind-boggling to me because I thought for sure at this point you win the game. Now, if you were the Chiefs, I thought you're gonna win. And here, this is the play. But this is what I'm talking about. I think right here.
Throw the ball.
Yeah, nothing.
Throw the ball.
And there it goes.
I would have rather him lost the ball right there, to be honest.
Yeah, because Butker's gonna come and kick this field goal and bring it to overtime. Joe Burrow. Unbelievable. 250. I mean, the numbers weren't there. I mean, 250, 2 touchdowns, and interception. But obviously, for being this is only his second year, showed a lot of poise, I guess, under pressure. Very interesting guy. He seems to have an attitude that is necessary to win, right? I mean,
yeah, he has the attitude. He carries himself well. Having his good buddy Chase there really helps him a lot.
Yeah. I mean, because that LSU team was incredible. Yeah. Wow, there's an interception by Eli Apple that was missed.
Eli Apple, he doesn't shut up on Twitter.
Yeah, he's not even good. But It's another Ohio State guy I think is going to pick it off here now.
Bell?
Yeah, there it is.
Game over.
And it was a terrible play, too. And I think right there, if I remember, whoever was doing the game, it was Romo and whoever it is, they were just talking about John Taylor, what I was talking about earlier about an interception miss. And right there, that play right there was terrible. I mean, I don't even understand it. And now here we go. Here goes Mixon running the ball. At this point, did you think it was over?
Yeah, the moment they got the interception was over. They had Joe Mixon. All you got to do is really run the clock out. I don't know why they were passing it there, but
T. Higgins had a nice day, 6 receptions, 103 yards.
You run that clock
out court. Go ahead with it. What was that, Julio?
I said if it was 11 minutes left or 12 minutes when they got that ball, you take your time with that clock in case you only get a field goal.
That was a fumble right there, by the way.
Right.
They didn't touch him.
No, he wasn't down, no. I noticed that immediately, too.
Yeah, so did I. I was having, and it happened to the Bears against the Packers in the NFC Championship, and yeah, I'll never forget that. That's why I know. I mean, he wasn't touched, and I think that's what Reed must have been talking about, not what Romo was trying to say.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
I can't.
he should have been. It should have been at least reviewed because he wasn't touched.
No, and it was recovered too. The only thing they could have said was the whistle, I guess.
Yeah, and then they would have downed it at the spot where he recovered it.
Yeah, that happened. Bears Packers in whatever year it was. I don't know if it was 14. I'll never forget that, and that's why right there it happened. I mean, and Romo was kept on saying that he was trying to talk about too many men on the line of scrimmage or something.
Yeah, I didn't even see that, but you should be talking about the way that the fumble never was even looked at.
Yeah, he never mentioned it. I was surprised. I mean, I had a feeling that he wasn't talking about, too many men on that. Reed wasn't asking to review the men on the line of scrimmage. Like there was 9 men on the line.
Oh
Allegedly.
yeah.
Had to be the fumble.
Had to be. But I didn't Reed come out and say that that's what we were doing. Like, why don't they look at the fumble?
Right. So now the Chiefs are done, and the Bengals move on. To go to the Super Bowl. First time since 1988 when we were just referencing the loss to the 49ers. Anything else from that game? We pretty much got it all as far as numbers wise. The big thing was too is that the Bengals offensive line only allowed 1 sack. So
right, and we thought they were going to get destroyed.
Yeah, and now Aaron Donald. I mean,
bigger problem.
He could be the MVP of this game. It wouldn't shock me.
If Cooper Kupp doesn't do what he normally does.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp should win the MVP of the Super Bowl.
What a frick. 2 guys, we were just talking about it. Odell Beckham and Stafford, their careers are what a change, right? I mean, what a perfect thing to get traded out of Detroit and have this. Unreal.
Out of Cleveland and do that.
Yeah, then out of Cleveland. What a what an incredible turn of events for them. I mean, because usually it doesn't happen, man. Right. And Stafford has been the Lions, and if you're a Lions fan, you got to be sick because they've never were able to capitalize on any of this.
Right. The Lions got rid of him and Slay.
Yeah. And they just
couldn't leave.
What a joke. But anyways, so there you go. We got the Bengals taking on the Rams. The Rams are at home. The Rams are -4 right now. Before we end up taking our break, why don't we get into this a little bit? Coaching. Someone just got hired. Why am I forgetting? Jacksonville. Who was it?
Peterson.
Peterson. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Doug Peterson. He won the Super Bowl in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And now he's in lowly Jacksonville.
Yeah, good little fit for him, though. I don't know how it came that he went there over all the other places. He just had better. He was one of the top 3 coaches available, and you picked Jacksonville. It's a little silly to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Because now you still got Miami, New Orleans, and Houston.
Tonight.
What's Miami going to do?
Miami's going to get the offensive coordinator, McDaniel.
From where?
49ers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Looking kid. He looks really.
What do you think?
He looks like a tech guy.
You like him?
I love him, honestly. Other than Dabo, he was probably my number 2 choice. But Dabo I only like because he was guaranteed. He was told that he was taking Dorsey wherever he goes.
Oh,
but
right.
That out, so we'll see how Dabo is all by himself.
Speaking of him, let's talk about before we get into the text messaging and all that, and I'll read them to the audience if they can't read it on the screen. But let's talk about the Rooney Rule. For anybody out there that doesn't know what it is, I'll explain it real fast. Dan Rooney used to be his family still owns the Steelers. He created it in 2002 with the NFL as a reaction to the firing of Tony Dungy and Dennis Green. The purpose is to make sure minorities would be interviewed for all coaching jobs, basically. I want to get what you think about it. Julio, what do you think about that?
I think the rule is a little stupid. I understand that that we need more black coaches and we need more black people in the front offices and stuff, but if you're not the guy that they want, why did they have to interview you? And now you have things like the Brian Flores situation where you're getting like a hand-me-down interview for no reason. You're pretty much sitting through it. But like, let's be real about the Giants. They knew that the moment the GM went, they knew who was going to be the head coach. You knew he was going there.
Right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
was coming from Buffalo. Yeah.
I tell you what, the Rooney Rule, no one's happy about it. I can't imagine anyone feels good because whether you're a minority, and that could be whatever. I mean, Ron Rivera said it best the other day, and by the way, they're the Washington Commanders now, I guess. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. He said it best. You just got to be hired on your merit, on your own, obviously, on your own accomplishments.
Right.
So,
and what has Brian Flores accomplished? 2 winning seasons.
yeah.
What is that? Like, you were hired here to win the playoffs, to get us to the playoffs. You never took us to the playoffs. You didn't accomplish anything.
And Brian Flores now, with the Rooney Rule, it's unbelievable how this has turned. Flores is suing the NFL. He's suing the Dolphins. He's suing the Giants and Denver, alleging race as the issue. Interviews were a sham, meant only to fulfill the Rooney Rule requirement. Now, I agree. I believe those have happened. They have been because they have to.
Because they have to interview him. But if they didn't have to interview my own,
Right.
then we wouldn't have these sham of interviews. Some teams know what guy they want.
Yeah. No, I agree. The whole thing is terrible. No one feels good. Like I said, let's put it this way, like whether you're I don't care, minority, non-minority, with the Rooney Rule, you never really know what's going on. Right. I mean, anytime you bring a minority in, that's the first thing that you think of, as a fan at least.
Right.
Because, I mean, why did Leslie Frazier? He didn't deserve. I said that to begin with. He does not deserve a head coaching job. If the Bears weren't going to hire him, why would he get one? He already failed in Minnesota and had to go back to be a defensive coordinator.
And failed at that.
Right. So how the hell would he had no way. No way was he going to get any job anywhere. So Flores is suing, and I'm going to put this up, Julio, then I'm going to read it. If we were in the studio, we were going to play it where you could be Flores and I'd be Bill Belichick. But let me read it for the people if they can't see it. Let me make sure I got it right. Here comes, now the funny thing is BB up there, that stands for Bill Belichick. That's funny. So Belichick, I got it right. Here's Belichick. This is sent to Brian Flores. Remember, sounds like you have landed. Congrats. That's from Belichick. Flores says, did you hear something I didn't hear? And then Belichick sends back Giants with exclamation points and question, all happy. Flores says, I interview Thursday. I think I have a shot at it, Flores says. So then Belichick goes on to send him back, got it. I hear from Buffalo and New York that you are their guy. Hope it works out for you if you want it to. And so then let me switch it over. Then that's definitely what I want. I hope you're right, coach. Thank you, is what Flores says back. Now Flores says something because it must strike him. He says, Coach, are you talking to Brian Daboll or Brian Flores? Just making sure. This is unbelievable. At that point, I'd love to see what Belichick's face looked like, because obviously now he's realized he has missed text. I've done this before. And so he says, sorry, I effed this up. I double-checked and misread the text. I think they are naming Daboll. I'm sorry about that, Belichick. Flores says back, thanks, BB. Now, that text happened on January 24th. Flores goes out to dinner with the Giants GM on the 27th of January.
Right.
So that kicked it all off, right? The Belichick text kind of started this.
So, like, if you look at the text, it kind of seems weird that, like, I'm pretty sure that the last two texts from Brian Flores saying, thanks, that's definitely what I want, and the weight coach, it just seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed weird to me that the way it was put, the way it was texted, like, back to back, like, within each other, like, he decided to text out, like, I think that he knew that Bill Belichick screwed up first, and then he said, that's definitely what I want, to show, like, when he does post this, I was really interested in the Giants' job.
He had to know, too. You're right, because
right away, because why would Buffalo have anything to do with
Right. Yes. Why would that be said about Buff? Right.
right?
He knew right there. Yeah. And it's everything that we already knew. Honestly, what he's not revealing anything. I mean, I'm surprised this didn't happen sooner because that rule is set up for this. All of them, anytime a minority doesn't get the job, the Rooney Rule is you know what I'm trying to say? There's always that issue.
Right. But it's not,
And
they're trying to make it an issue, and like I know you said we're gonna go to break soon, but I was gonna wait till after. But it's not an issue if like they're trying to bring Miami a little bit into the race, but Miami's GM is also black. So like, how are they racist about it?
right. Yeah, no. I mean, I think there's more GMs than coaches. There definitely is.
Maybe the people that are minority are just not good coaches. I don't know. There's a lot of assistant coaches, Vance Joseph, Leslie Frazier. There's names out there that are defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. Like maybe cut out to be a coach. I don't know. It has nothing.
Leftwich, Bieniemy, those guys.
There's nothing that has to do with their race. Is what I'm saying.
I can't imagine at this day and age it would, considering that. Look, those guys would sell their mother to win games. That's the way it seems now. I'm not saying the 70s, 80s, and I don't know, different time. But to me, I would feel like they would do anything to, I don't know. It seems to me that this was coming to a head because the Rooney Rule has always been just horribly done. There was no, I don't know. It's been begging. It's been around for almost 20 years. And I'm surprised it took this long. Now, real quick on Flores a little more. He also talks about Denver. And in 2019, Flores alleges that Elway and Joe Ellis, CEO of the Broncos, were an hour late and appeared hungover and disheveled for a meeting that he had with them about the coaching vacancy. Vic Fangio was then hired. Elway says the claims are false and defamatory. Elway, this is a quote of Elway, couldn't be silent any longer with my character, integrity, and professionalism being attacked. So,
but then they already came out and said that we were on time. We sent 7 executives to the meeting. So, like, where's the truth in it, really?
Right.
And again, why are you bringing it out 3 years later?
Well, yeah. I think Belichick was the key that made it just so clear as to, in his mind at least, as to what this was, you know?
Right.
I mean, Leslie Frazier going to the Bears for an interview was a joke.
Correct.
No matter how bad the Bears are, they weren't going to hire him. So
I wouldn't consider it. He shouldn't even been a candidate.
No,
I think the Brian Flores thing is just very, very silly to me. Obviously, biased, a Dolphins fan, and he left, but it's not that he's not a good head coach.
Well, some of the things you said with Tua tells me I wouldn't want him as a head coach.
Right.
With for a young quarterback at least.
Right. And like a young quarterback, he had 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years. That's embarrassing. He keeps turning over his staff no matter what. His passing games coordinator switched 2 times. His offensive coordinator switched 4 times. 5 if you're counting Jim Caldwell as their assistant offensive coordinator year 1. He never even showed up. They fired his offensive coordinator or offensive lines coach the week before training camp. Now the offensive line is the biggest problem. So where is it showing that he's a good coach? He's already admitted that he doesn't call the defense. So he didn't do the defense. What is he doing that's so Brian Flores deserves a job over Dabo?
I couldn't tell you. I don't even know. Before we move on to break, too, and then we'll come back and discuss a little more, Josh McDaniels ends up in Las Vegas.
Yep. See if he fails at being an offensive or a head coach again.
There's his shot. Nathaniel Hackett, Green Bay offensive coordinator, is in Denver.
Yep.
Yeah. and someone I never heard of before, but Kevin O'Connell, Rams. He's the Rams offense coordinator. Is going to Minnesota.
Yes.
So that leaves us New Orleans, Houston, and Miami. And you said Miami is going to go with the 49ers.
Be picking the 49ers guy tonight or tomorrow. They have a interview with him tonight, actually right now. And tomorrow is Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator from Dallas. But they'll probably know tonight who their guy is because their number one guy the whole time has been McDaniel.
Yeah. Houston and New Orleans left. Two of the toughest places to go because
they're both.
You don't have much.
Right. I was going to wait. Should we go to commercial first?
Yeah. Why don't we go to commercial? Hold on a minute. Before we go to commercial, I want to bring something up real quick. This is our friend, Elena DePaulo. If you don't know, she had cancer and defeated cancer, but while defeating cancer, she got kidney failure. She needs a donor. Please check it out here. If you can, call 89. Well, you know what? It's on the bottom scroll. 898-5001. That's ECMC, area code 716. So even if you're not in Western New York, you can still call, and hopefully maybe you're able to be a match. If not, please just share it so we can find a match. We already told Elena we would get one this year. So 1 month down, let's find it. So yeah, just share that as much as you can. Let's go to break real quick. And when we come back, we got a lot to talk about. We'll be back in a moment. All right, so those are the check out our store. We've been selling Joe Burrow cards like crazy. 2 in the last couple of days. There's a lot of them. We got rookie cards of Burrow, and it's all over the country, man, buying our cards. So please keep going in there buying them. Check out our Goal Getters t-shirts and coffee mugs and all that stuff. Buy one today. What were we going to say before we went to break?
Brian Flores, if you're one of those two teams that are kind of garbage, like what do we say, New Orleans and Houston?
Right.
A lot of black athletes, well, black football players or people that support what he's doing will follow him. Now's the time for you to go recruit free agents via him. If you have a hard time getting free agents, now I made a post the other day, right? I understand Buffalo's got a defensive coordinator. I would call Brian Flores right now, offer him double what Leslie Frazier's is making, and do you want to come be our defensive coordinator? I guarantee you that the next free agent corner that comes out will follow Brian Flores. And there is a free agent corner that was considered top 5, and that's Stephon Gilmore. That's already played here, already worked with Brian Flores, and that would be a problem for everybody in the AFC is for them to get a number 2 corner. There's no reason that you don't hire someone like that to recruit free agents with you.
No, yeah, because I don't see him going to New Orleans. That's going to be I don't know. He has nothing. Well, I guess he'd have to play Winston, and
right. You'd have to play Winston. You'd have to crush the roster like he did in Miami.
Yeah,
purge the roster. That's fine. Like, they're going to have to, no matter who their coach is. But look at Miami. He purged it when he got here and did pretty well. They made the 2 winning seasons.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're at the bottom of the barrel. So Houston.
When you get Brian Flores, you gotta have an offensive line or offensive coach lined up with him. You have to do that for him. You can't rely on him to go fill out his staff.
Now Houston, of course, will have Watson back next year. So that's
I thought he's not returning.
Oh, he's not returning to them? I don't even know.
He said he'll never play for that owner.
Oh, all right. That'll be interesting then to see how they move him or who would ever.
Yeah, they're probably the ones behind all these allegations, considering the owner's neighbor / owner's lawyer is representing all the girls.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting. Now I know. Yeah, it's a mess. Oh my God, I wouldn't even want that job if I was Flores. I don't think I'd want it either.
I would want
I'd
either.
almost take a year off.
If I was Flores, I'd call up Buffalo and just say, "Hey, I'll be your defensive coordinator for less than legislature.
Yeah.
Let me go get there." If I was him at first, I was going to call New England and say, "Let me run your defense until Bill leaves, and I'll take over for Bill."
Yeah. Until yeah. Well, let's talk. There's another issue that came up. Hugh Jackson, who was the Browns head coach back in 2016, he started.
Yep.
His record was 336-1. He had an 0-16 season. He has come forward and said that owner Jimmy Haslam. Actually, I got to go back to. Well, I'll keep Jackson, and then I got to go back to Flores. That he was offered incentives, financial incentives to lose.
Right.
Now, Jackson's fired midway through the third season. Haslam, I guess, showed him a 4-year plan. Well, he didn't make it to the end. Brian Flores, back to him. He also alleges the Miami owner offered him $100,000 per loss to tank for draft position in 2019. Flores declined the offer, which led to tension with management. That's one thing I wanted to ask you about. What do you think of that? I mean, that's
if it turns out to be true, every Dolphins player that they have on their roster that was playing at that time should request and demand a trade. You had these guys going out, risking their bodies, risking their years' longevity for no reason. There's just no reason for them to even show up. But then again, also, if they were paying them to lose, why go sign a capable quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick to go win them games? Why not just force Tua to play, or the year before that, why not force Josh Rosen to play, knowing how garbage he was?
right.
If it's true, it sucks. Also, another thing about the Miami Dolphins and the owner, 5-10 years ago, he has a huge, like $750,000 investment in a sports gambling ring. Like, he started one of the sites up or whatever, and it didn't look good that he's behind eventually, maybe tampering with the game.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, and then when I look at Hugh Jackson's situation, the Browns paid him $750,000 in bonuses to lose. And I saw Robert RG3 was on somewhere, and he was talking about how mad he is because he was there and he was trying to redo his career and after being hurt in Washington, and he was very upset. This must happen a lot, though.
Right.
I would think. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's. I mean, honestly, the NFL is probably behind some of it too. I remember a couple of years ago, a Rams running back tweeted, "I don't know why we show up to these games or whatever. We already know the outcome."
Wow.
And he's already said, "I have stuff to tell, but I already signed a non-disclosure."
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the
what if
Bears.
it's NFL that's behind the don't win, don't, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, the Bears with Mike Glennon, I never understood that. I mean, they're a team that I think were attempting. They definitely were.
Right.
They definitely were. The year that they did were that when they messed up and did the Trubisky thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I don't get it sometimes.
It's not good. We can't have teams because we're betting. Now we're getting, like you said just a minute ago, betting is now normalized and everyone's doing it. You can't ever have that feeling that it's already a feeling out there that things might be, fixed, whatever you want to call it. And this makes it worse,
Right.
So I don't know.
It makes it 100 times worse.
Yeah. So that's what we got with Hugh Jackson, Brian Flores, and the coaching stuff. Now we're going to switch to a different sport real quick. And it's not a big deal, but I think we could have a good discussion on this. Major League Baseball, we know they already were told not to even get ready for spring training. So they're not coming back. But the Hall of Fame, which is not part of Major League Baseball, they say all the time to make sure you know, they inducted this guy, David Ortiz.
Right.
There he is, Big Papi. Incredible numbers, incredible most clutch player probably in Red Sox history.
Deserves to be in the World Hall of Fame.
And there he is. He's in there. He horrible in Minnesota. He was injuries, just had terrible. And he goes to Boston. And now he does get hit with he does get hit with the PED thing, kind of, sort of, the same way A-Rod did.
Right.
In that, remember in that anonymous testing.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, A-Rod got leaked. I don't know how Ortiz's did too, but no one cared.
No one cared. I mean, A-Rod was also on top of the. He was the spokesperson for it. Whatever. He was the head honcho.
Yeah.
Yeah. They cared more about him than anybody else.
This guy does not make it, and I think at this point now, I don't even know how he makes it now. After that, he's not in there. This guy doesn't make it. Another one. What do you think of that? I want to know what your opinion is, because these guys, the two that all three of them really, but the other two, I mean, there's stories about Roger Clemens that are Joe Torre's book says how Roger Clemens used to put icy hot on his groin before he'd go out and pitch, go nuts, like to the point where Torre said he used to hide in the manager's room because he was so out of control. He'd get on there. He said he was like a crazy bull, and then in the second inning, you could find him in between innings crying in the clubhouse, where guys would have to go in there to make him stop crying, and then he'd come out. Wild. We know that Bond's head grew 8 million times the size. He got a huge head out of nowhere. What do you think about those guys?
I mean, they both should be in. You might as well just put them in. But a third person I'd add to this is Pete Rose.
Oh, yeah, I think someone in our Don might have just brought up Pete Rose. All right, let's talk about Pete Rose, too. Pete Rose.
He gambled on himself. Everybody should be gambling on themselves in life. Like, who cares?
Well, was that all that was proven, right? Was him on himself?
Was he ever proven to be gambling against himself? That would be a problem.
I don't know. Did he? No, he never was.
I always thought that it was gambling with himself.
And that was as a manager.
You're right. But like a manager for baseball, sure, they're out there in their little uniform, whatever. They don't control that much of the game. They don't control if the batter hits the home run, if the pitcher throws a ball on the ground.
That's the only thing.
They don't have much of
just pitching changes. Pitching changes, basically.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you really do, which also comes from your pitching coach as well.
If I was going to fix a game, though, as a manager, I mean, although players would be pissed off, so I think it would be tough. But depending on who you start, you could definitely, like, I know just betting baseball myself. I mean, I guess that's how. I think the problem with Rose is he's such a degenerate gambler that for me, maybe there's been no proof, but I can't believe he wouldn't have bet against himself if he needed to make money.
Right, but but then they got to prove it.
Right, and it hasn't been proved. It hasn't been proven, I guess. Then I think he's got a big mouth, and if he would have calmed down at one point, I think they'd have let him. And I know that's not the right thing. It's not the right thing.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. See, here's the difference, I guess. Major League Baseball and the Hall of Fame are two different things. Because there was a point where Pete Rose was announcing games for the Reds, doing color. He was doing on Fox. He used to be sitting there with A-Rod and Frank Thomas, which was great. That was an outstanding show. So he was, for a while there, he was banned. He couldn't even. Oh, there's the dog. Hey. There he is. So what's the name again? Tell us his name.
His name is Jack.
Jack, and not for Eichel.
No, it's not Eichel.
Yeah, well, but I'm telling you, what I'm saying, he was banned one time from even going to stadiums. He wasn't even allowed to go into a stadium.
Right.
And all right, so he got back in. He was honored as one of the top 100 players of all time at Fenway Park. I remember Ted Williams was there. Everyone. That was the day that I wish I had. Damn it! I should have gotten the interview with Jim Gray on the field when he goes off on Jim Gray, because Jim Gray asks him about betting, and it was a really good interview. So okay, Major League Baseball kind of let him back in. I could see why they'd never let him manage again. But the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame is weird, Julio, because I don't know how they did. Baseball to me is very important with numbers. It's probably the most number in all the sports. I mean, the only other sport to me is like the hockey goal with Gretzky. If Ovechkin's going to beat Gretzky, that'll be something. But baseball, how do you do it? Because I have a hard time saying Bonds is the home run leader. I mean, this guy had 70 whatever home runs in 1 year. He was hitting a home run every 3 at bats, along with getting walked at an incredible time. They were walking him with bases loaded.
Right.
How do you?
Has Bonds ever played a year where they know he wasn't on steroids?
What's that?
Has Bonds ever played a year where they knew he wasn't on steroids?
Had to be with the Pirates.
And how many home runs did he have that year?
I think his best year there might have been 30. He might have had 30 and 100. He was good.
Like cut in half. How many did he have when he was on steroids?
Well, then it starts blowing up into the 40s and 50, and then you see 70, whatever.
His numbers down and see if he makes the Hall of Fame based on average on the years that you know for a fact he wasn't on steroids. It'd just be a lot. It would be a lot easier. Now you're letting him do that, and it'd be quite frank. If you're gonna, I don't understand. Like, you got Sammy Sosa had a corked bat, right? Was that
maybe? Yeah, a bunch of there was others. Yeah,
I don't know. It's strange to me. I don't understand how they let one person in that cheats, not another person in that cheats. I don't understand.
but you would say that cheating of stealing signs is a little different, like
Is it though?
than the PEDs. No.
But cheating's cheating though.
Yeah, but that cheating's been okay.
If you knew you were doing something wrong, that you shouldn't be telling the national media at the end of the game, like, "Hey, I stole their signs," and I took steroids, haha. You're doing wrong both times.
Yeah.
You're smashing a garbage can. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Altuve or Bredman, whatever, should never be able to see a pitch again. They should be getting beamed every single time they're up until they say, "I can't take this anymore." But
yeah.
the MLB just didn't want to do that.
You see, this is my dilemma with this. Now, Pete Rose, I don't have that much of a dilemma with. I think as a player, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Right. I could see why as a manager they'd say, you know what, we'll forget he ever was a manager, because that's where he did most of his damage.
Then put him in as a player then.
Only a player. He's obviously the hit king and the whole deal. And
you got to put stop using after he retired, you're using things against him, because he retired, then he went to manage.
You see, now my problem with the steroid or the PEDs is these guys are doing things at 40 years old that they shouldn't be doing. It just doesn't happen.
Retired.
And I don't even think you could steal a sign enough to hit 70 some home runs a year. I mean, it's like, I guess it's just hyper cheat. I mean, you can't get any higher than injecting and then getting your eyesight to the point where you get a millisecond. It's insane. Right. But I've argued with Robin to the point of craziness about this, where do you go with that? No, really. I mean, even like the corked bats. I mean, there was some of them I know. I remember one of them. I wish I could remember who it was who corked a bat, and they ran on the field and hit it, and it was a whole mess. And I remember one time a guy broke his bat and little super balls came bouncing out. Yeah. How, or like a spitball or all that. Does it really? Do you think it compare? I don't know, man.
I think if you're corked bat, and once you put on with the corked bat, it's increasing it. If you have to do something that is no one else is doing, you're saying I need to cheat to be better. And at that very moment, when you say you need to cheat to be better, you should be taken right out of the conversation for Hall of Fame. Ever. If you cheat, you should be right out of there.
All right, Robin just spoke in the message board. I'll read for her. Every era had their cheaters. Keep each era together in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
All right, so we're going to have a cheating portion of the Hall of Fame. Well, no, every era. So what is it, every decade? I mean, all right, so what did they do in the 60s? In the 50s and 60s, they were taking some sort of amphetamines, I guess, to stay awake. They were taking steak. That's what it seemed to be. In between doubleheaders, they were taking those pills to stay awake. probably in the 80s. The 80s through the early 2000s was the steroid era, I'm guessing. Maybe not the 80s, the 90s, right? I mean, because when Mark McGwire goes from the how he started out with the A's and how he ends up is just unbelievable. It's not normal for your head to grow like that. Where they're getting three sizes. I mean, Barry Bonds' head grew 3 times its size. I don't know what to say on that. I mean, he's a machine at that point at 40 years old.
Yeah, it's just hard to like evaluate them as cheaters. I don't know.
I just don't like it. The home run championship, it can't be his.
No.
He couldn't have beaten Hank Aaron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. How could he if he wouldn't have? He does not beat Hank Aaron if he stays Barry Bonds before Barry Bonds. Before
the little head Barry Bonds.
Yeah. He would have been a Hall of Famer probably.
Right, but then he had to go cheat to try to make himself. Now he just looks stupid.
He went godly. He went to a point
getting what he deserves and not making it.
Yeah, I guess so. But Robin wants him to be making. People like Robin want him to make it.
I want P. She can have that if you give me P. Rose as a player. Then.
Yeah, she wants it. Yeah, she likes all that. Everything. I would have no one as far as I'm concerned. But Rose is a little different. I just think his playing career speaks for itself. You can't. He's the hit king. All that stuff. He wasn't on steroids. He wasn't. He wasn't any of that. There's guys too that got screwed on the steroid era. I mean, I think of some players in the past. Don Mattingly, one of them. There's some other guys. The one guy for the Red Sox, Mike Greenwell. I mean, these guys got screwed not doing. I mean, maybe they should have done it. I don't know, man. I get really pissed on this conversation because, as far as sports go, I mean, not really. I just don't know. How do you? I think the Hall of Fame sucks for baseball. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's just hard to clean it up. Like, how do you find it? I don't know.
It's too late.
Right.
I guess it's too late. All right, off of that subject for a second before we wrap it up and stuff. NHL tonight we got a cool skills competition. Did you see what they're doing this year?
I did not see what they're doing.
They are putting up these humongous playing cards, like big cards, and there's like 6 guys. I think Austin Matthews, Nazem Kadri, a bunch of guys. They got to shoot the pucks, and I don't know how it's going to work, but you got to get blackjack 21.
Hell yeah!
By hitting these cards. That's I think they're doing it in front of the Bellagio Hotel or whatever. That's kind of interesting.
NHL does a skills competition the best.
Yeah.
NHL and the NBA are by far the best too.
Yeah. And the NHL smart going 3-on-3 also, I think.
Yeah, safer, more open ice. I think the NBA needs to do something to make it more fun.
I'm thinking they should have like 5-point shots or something.
5-point shots. I think they should do no timeouts. To be honest, do it like a line change on the inbounds. You can go ahead and sub in and out. No timeouts. Just get your players in and out. I don't know. There's no defense played in the NBA really either, so it's not really like real,
Could you play it like you did at the Y or something where they called their own fouls?
Yeah, do something. I like the concept of whoever gets to whatever point it is, and then they got to get 25 more, and then they win the game. The concept used last year was a lot better than the regular one. It doesn't even look like basketball. It looks like the Harlem Globetrotters. It's not real. It's like a fake dunk contest.
Yeah.
They should maybe make them do 4-on-4 or something. I don't know. So maybe the floor would be open a little bit more if it was 4-on-4, so it would be more exciting. Make it worth something like the MLB does.
Now the NFL, this is the Pro Bowl. They're doing I think they have some skills competitions coming back.
It was yesterday.
What did they do quarterback stuff?
Yeah, they did a precision passing, which is pretty decent. They got like cones you have to throw it in, like normal things that like pretty fun to watch. Damn it,
I missed it. I'll have to rewatch. I loved that when they used to do it before.
They did the fastest man today, and Tyreek Hill lost.
Who won?
Michael Parsons.
Wow. Holy cow.
Did a best bet. Trayvon Diggs won. Stephon Diggs went in there. He jumped over through a table.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty lame.
Yeah.
Then he did a line catch where he didn't even get both feet in.
Well, but the Pro Bowl's terrible.
Pro Bowl's terrible.
There was one time.
Better. Just get rid of tackle. Just do two-hand touch.
There was one time, and it was back in the Zach Thomas days. Someone hit, and then that was it.
Sean Taylor hit the Bills punter.
Then that was it. It was over. I mean,
big hit.
Yeah, that's too bad because I don't know how they can. The game's terrible. I'll probably watch just because, but it's terrible. I can't. All right. On another note, before we go, I want to ask you. I know we're hitting all the sports, but let's hit one more. I know you know basketball a bit here, NBA. You see this stuff? I don't want to catch you off guard, but Ben Simmons.
He's not playing yet.
Yeah, they got to trade him. They only have a couple days, I think, before the deadline.
Thursday's the deadline. He should, I think I said this to you earlier in the episodes, but he should go to a Brooklyn, and then he goes to Brooklyn, and then Kyrie Irving can play every game in Philly, and then he'll go ahead and play without Ben Simmons will go ahead and play for the Nets. It's a win-win. Yeah. Send him to the Kings. Send him anywhere. Just get rid of him because he's not playing. You're gonna win time with Embiid by standing your ground. Just get something better than nothing. They did the same thing with hockey did the same thing with Jack Eichel. Waited too long. Waited till Ryan O'Reilly went out. It's just dumb. Get rid of Ben Simmons. He's not that good anyway, so you shouldn't get that big of a haul for him anyway. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I heard Shaq the other night. I was watching the game, and he just – it was pretty bad. The stuff he was saying was unbelievable. You don't usually get that kind of –
Yeah, he hates him. He ripped him.
Yeah, pretty good, too. And I don't know. Ben Simmons was terrible last year. I remember watching the playoffs. It was unbelievable.
He's not a point guard, and he's not a small forward. That's the problem. He's not fast enough to stick with the point guards. He's only good at defense because he's so much bigger than the point guards. And he's too slow or too small for everybody else. He just doesn't have a position anymore.
So you know what? This is a sad time. Football's done until next week, and then but although I will say, and you were right about this years ago when we used to talk. Football never ends, though. And USFL starts too soon.
That'll give us some type of football to watch. But next week is the Super Bowl. Then the week after that, you got 3 weeks. Free agency opens. Free agency goes on for about 2 weeks. Then the draft is in 5 weeks after that.
Yeah.
They do well filling up their time.
And be ready for this upcoming week because I think the NHL was supposed to be going to the Olympics, but they're not. So, but in that period, there's a ton of games that are going to be played because of teams that missed from COVID.
Yeah.
So, you could pay attention to some of that. But you know what, Julio? It's gone. Time's flown by. So I guess it's time to sign off and all that. What do you got going on? Anything this weekend? Anything good?
Nothing. I just got a tattoo today, so I'm trying not to really do too much.
Yeah.
To walk tomorrow.
A lot of shoveling.
What's that?
A lot of shoveling of snow.
Yeah, I worked the other day. Had to shovel quite a bit.
Yeah.
The plows came by pretty good around here in Tonawanda.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
We're still jacked up here.
Niagara Falls doesn't do well with the plowing.
No. Well, they pay the guys like they're working at Arby's. That's a problem.
Right. I also noticed here there's not too many street parkers. So I've noticed in Niagara Falls, some people aren't obeying by the even number, odd number. So sometimes when the plow do try to go down, they can't go down the road.
Yeah, that's very true. That's really true.
And those same people parking on the wrong side are the ones complaining about why they can't get out.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's absolutely right. I noticed that because I've been on my off time from the studio. I told you I've been doing a little like Instacarting and all that stuff, and DoorDash, and yeah, it's nuts. People, yesterday I did it, and I got stuck in the middle of the road on Orleans Avenue. I got stuck here on we're on Whirlpool trying to go because Whirlpool's down. Like you got to go down or up a hill to get to Whirlpool, and I got stuck in the middle of the hill, so I had to back all the way down. But either way, man, we'll be back next week. We'll have our picks for Super Bowl. What is it? Super Bowl what? 50 what?
56, right?
Yeah, is that right, Robin? 56? You usually know 56. Yeah.
I think
She'll be back next week. Even though she's choking here. And everyone. Are you all right?
Nope.
Yeah, she's good. But she'll be back next week, which will be fun. So we can all get together again at the studio.
Hell yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. For Julio, myself, take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Have a good
Take
week.
care. Bye.